Hello everyone, this is Palworld Mod Building. I am MoxxyHaven, and today we're going to be making this really cool big fountain. These are good for a pavilion, city center, or any kind of water feature that you would like to make using this method. This is only using two different blueprints, but this one actually technically uses 4 pieces. You can make this out of 3, but we are going to get into this. This uses a silo and 2 water fountains. Now, depending on whether or not you want to see the brick through the bottom of the fountain, is whether or not you are going to use an additional fountain to create a floor. So let's get started here. We're going to be using rotate it, and we're going to be using some of our basic methods of leveling items out by using the tilde key and 0, and then we're going to be rescaling and moving some stuff around, and we're going to be using copy and paste quite a bit in this to get this the way we want it, because we want items to be perfectly centered and on each other's grid. So let's get started. We hit F4 to open up our tool. We're going to target our silo. We're going to hit F5. We're going to go to our 2 fields for X and Z, and we're going to 0 these out by hitting tilde, typing 0, and pressing enter to enter in a custom number into those fields. It's much too big, especially if you're using this on a platform that you can see underneath or something like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to lift this up a little bit, and we're going to use our rotate. We're going to rotate it 180 to flip it upside down perfectly. And as you can see, this is the brick circle that we're going to be working with, but all of this would be sticking out of the floor if this was on a platform that you could see under. So we're going to use our Y scale and make it thin. Right now it's 0, which means you can't see it at all, so I recommend using Alt and up to give it a wafer thin thickness. And this will allow you to clip it into the floor. So as you can see, it's half in, half out. We can use Alt and up to get this exactly where we want it to be. We're going to use F7 to kind of drag this around a little bit. Here we go. Alright, now that is a really small fountain, and you can absolutely use it this size if you so choose. But for this purpose, we're going to be making this kind of big for fun. There we go. We're going to hide that last little bit there into the ground. Depending on how much you have it thick into the ground, you may be able to lift up a nice rim. That one's a little thin, and it's in a rock right now that you're not going to be able to see. So if we thicken this, you can see that rim thickened out. So you get a nice platform out of it. If it's really close to the ground, pals will still path on it, as long as it doesn't break their interaction with the ground, of course. So let's see here. This is going to be small. Let's make this big for fun though. We're going to use Shift and up and down to change our scale 1 full step. So this is a double scale, and that doesn't seem quite grandiose enough, but for intents and purposes we're going to use this for now. So we're going to copy all the information. If you look down on the left side where it says CV copy paste current copy mode all, we want to copy all of these attributes, so that when we grab this water fountain and paste them, it will also be the same scale, rotation, and because we don't want it upside down, let's press 0, stand it back up, lower it back down here, and then we can use Alt to get that perfectly inset. And as you can see, you can still see the bottom of the fountain, and depending on your taste, you can make it taller or shorter depending on how you would like your water feature to be. Let's see here. As you can see, we can make it short and keep the ground. But the bigger you make the fountain, the harder it is to maintain a concrete floor that is in it. So what you can actually do is, if you end up in a position where you are stuck with the brick and you want a concrete floor, you can copy your water fountain and paste another one on top of it, but make it all the way thin, which is 0.01, and then you want to very finely, using Alt, lift that until it covers the brick instead. And that's really just a good method if you are stuck with the brick texture and that's not the texture you want. If you decide that you want this concrete, that's how you're going to get it. This is also a very, very cool feature that you can use in all kinds of places, and I'll be going over that in a later video. So let's say that we would like this fountain to be taller, okay? We're going to copy our fountain. We're going to paste it onto our second fountain. Lift our second fountain up, and then we're going to play with it. We're going to shrink this until it fits in this top bowl really nice, and we don't want it to clip through the bottom there. So let's lift that up until it, there we go. Now we have a fountain on a fountain, but as you see, the scales do not match very well. So let's go to Y scale. There we go. That looks more like it's supposed to go together. There we go. And now we have a water feature. If you would like the kind of water that I have, that I showed originally, all I did was change the rotation, one shift click, and it gave us opposite water angles. So instead of all the water coming down at the exact same angle, this adds a little bit of visual interest, just so that it doesn't look absolutely copy and pasted. And if you really wanted to have fun with this, which of course I did, what I wanted to do was make a big pavilion. I wanted to make kind of a city square. There was a really big fountain, and I want to put some like benches and some planters and things like that around this once I'm ready. There we go. Let's see here. There we go. We're going to make that really, really big. And we're going to copy all of the information from it, because shrinking is not very hard to do. So we press F4 and then F5 to lock on. We're going to paste our information. Let's change 180 back to 0 so that it's pointing straight up. And you see we have this giant fountain. But if we're trying to fill a big part of town and we just want a feature, what we'll do is we'll shrink this back down, and because it's centered, we don't have to worry about aligning it. We just have to worry about making it the scale that we would like it. I like that short and stacked look. So we are going to do just that, and we're going to stack 3 of them this time just for fun. Let's see. I want to be able to fit in another fountain, so I'm going to need more scale to work with. So let's do 115, and we'll shrink this down. Make sure that looks about the thickness I would like it to be. And then we're going to move on our y-axis and make sure that we can get it down as low as we can without it clipping through. And there we are. And to keep some visual interest, we're going to do 1 shift turn to split that water up, and then we're going to copy all that information one more time. And then we're going to paste that onto our third fountain. We're going to hop on up here. to do the same exact thing. We're going to lower this to a place where it fits in and follows about the same scaling. That looks good to me. And we want to position it so that it's not clipping on the bottom. And we're going to do one shift turn so that all the water comes down in different directions. This gives us a really, really nice center of town where you can surround this with benches, you can do planters, anything you want. And this works really, really well if you shrink it also, because you can fit in really nice water features in like the main room of your buildings or anything like that. Thank you for joining me. This is how you make a really cool fountain. If you have any questions or requests, let me know. Otherwise, see you in the next tutorial. Thank you guys. God bless.